Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chris Haskell, and I am excited to be with you here tonight, this morning, wherever you are. Where I am, it's dang early. In Europe, it's actually pretty about the right time for one of these. We've got about 3 minutes before we go on this amazing race, and I am joined by Frank Garcia. And how excited are we for these finals? Piotr Szarzyński and, of course, Yoni Gravdal. How excited is this?
I am very excited.
So excited.
Yeah, it's
If you don't know these riders, they're two amazing guys who have been duking it out since the very beginning. Gravdal and of course our guy Szarzyński, well known from the scene from before, duking it out today for this event. Now, I'm hoping, just Frank, you can tell us just a little bit about the course that they're going to race today in just a second. I'll give you a minute to maybe come up with what's about perfect. Got about 3 minutes until we kick this thing off, and it is everything that we hoped that it would be. These guys have been working for months, right? The regular season, here in the postseason, to get to this point, and it looks like there's lots of guys lined up to do this race with them. What can you tell us about this course today?
Classique is one of my favorite courses, of course. It's very flat. There is one rise a little bit from the finish, about 2 kilometers from the finish. Usually doesn't factor into breaking sprint. And so it's flat, fast, and we look for a sprint finish. Also expect a big teamwork today, as we've seen in the postseason.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing. So excited to see what these guys do. Now, the thing that has really just been outstanding so far here in all of these races is the unique characteristic of the racers and their teams jumping in. Unexpected, unbelievable, really, really cool. In your estimation, how many folks are here just to help these guys out?
Oh, I would think the vast majority of the people. People have been posting videos about the postseason. People have been posting asking for help in the postseason. Someone said it was the Wild West, and I think that's just because the sense is often on Zwift it's sort of each man for himself, each man or woman. And the teamwork is fairly muted currently, but in the postseason, it's been super highlighted. This past Saturday, we had 20 people from Team PTZ out in support of one of their teammates, and we had another, as you called it, a ragtag band of I guess mercenaries, people who came to help the other racer race, and I think we'll see that again. This evening. It's what we want. Maybe some rules will come in as to how big the teams can be a little bit later on. We'll see how that works.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and that, half the time these guys just line up with one another to be able to just say that they were a part of it. I mean, teams form out of just people who want to show up and help. They've got some affection or affinity for one of the riders, and they decide to do it. All right. 10 seconds to go. I'm going to remove myself from the picture. We're going to kick this thing into high gear. We've got Gravdal and Szarzyński getting ready to kick this thing off. Mixed mass start. This is Group A. World Cup Finals. Here we go. Unbelievable. They're digging and they're pushing really hard out of the gates right here. And we can, of course, cut between any one of these riders that we want as we dig in and find the right guys. You see Team PL in here. You also see Zielinski in here. Luzinski in here. So many, I'm not even going to say it this time, but so many folks that are pulling in for their Team Poland. That's the Team PL. Szarzyński is a staple on Team Poland, and his teammates want to definitely get him the victory today. You can identify those jerseys. They're really pretty easy to spot. They're primarily black with the red and white in the jersey. Of course, those are the colors of Poland, white and red, in that order specifically. You'll notice the flags. Everyone wearing one of those jerseys, of course, is a Team Poland member. Anyone also flying that flag is probably out here to support our guy Szarzyński. But Gravdal, made his way to the top of this race by kicking a bunch of guys' butts. We'll bring up those details in just a second. There's a scream through here. Trzynski is his lieutenant. He's been supporting him all the way along, and he's been in every single one of these races, and he's really digging it at the front right now. He's trying to get his guy off the front. It looks like he's going to be able to do it. If anybody is going to be able to boost him off the front, it's Trzynski, now pulling his guy, Pierre Trzynski. Team Poland trying to get a break early on. Eliminate any of those Gravdal guys that are trying to hang on the front. Once this settles down, we'll tell you a little bit more about how they came to be in this position. But right now, they are just drilling it, doing everything they can to try to break a few of these guys off the back. Now, Gravdal is not going to get eliminated here if he is within sight of this thing. He's too strong of a rider. Understandable, but this is a painful spot to be in. And what an interesting approach, Frank, straight out of the gate to try to get these guys out the door.
Love it, absolutely.
Why
love
so hard so early?
Yeah, I love it. Very aggressive. Let's see if we can get away right out of the gate. Go super hard, even harder than the normal Zwift start. Certainly extending that. And it's a little bit of the roll of the dice here, and we see, Gravdal's right there, and it'll be interesting to see if they pull that back. But I think
that's right. You know what? They're right there. But who's gotten shelled? Hausen off the back, 40 off the back. Many of these folks finding themselves 3-4 seconds off the back, who might have been there to help these guys today. We'll never know, because it looks like unless they just give it all they've got. Luzinski, 2 seconds off the back. Excuse me, Lesniewski, 2 seconds off the back. Another Team Poland rider may be getting shelled at this point. You don't want your ammunition to get eliminated this early, or frankly, to let them just linger off the back that long. Boy, they are just digging it right now, trying to get these guys up in the front. Now, as we look at where they are in this group. Now, as you mentioned just a little bit ago, this is a relatively flat course today. Yes, there's that little bump as you come up the hill toward Trafalgar Square, but this is, in essence, a flat route. Oh, Creel right there, Jeffrey Creel, who's been racing in this and other divisions. Who do you think he's going to help today? Who's he out to help? Matt Johnson also in this group. My goodness, Matt Johnson. It is late at night where you are, sir. It's about 2 a.m. for Johnson. Yeah, so whoa, they're getting away here just a little bit. Creel maybe off the back of this. Couple of guys, I don't see any of the guys that we're paying close attention to in that little breakaway. Sitting right now in 6th position, Trzynski, they're drifting back. This is not going to continue. Either the guys spotted what was happening or decided to give a little bit of break off the front. Yeah, as you look here, Trzynski is in that lead group. Gravdal is gapped a little bit. Yes, he does. 176 beats per minute. Gravdal, a little bit more mellow, hanging in the back there. But Trzynski, as we see in the front here, finding himself in a nice position. The group comes around them again. Yeah, they come up the hill here toward. They're going to hit the main section here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say this is actually the longest climb on the Class Seat course.
Yeah, frankly, it's probably the biggest uphill that we're going to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where they try and make a move, but it's easy to bring back typically because you got a long way to go. And then they're going to hit
that hard corner right there and go into the strand.
Yeah, so this is how you'll set up for the
now.
End as well.
This talks about the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, so I think at this point this is a good place to sort of try and get a recovery on the last lap for the sprint, and maybe as you turn the corner, if you've got a lead-out train, that lead-out train can go to the front and give you pulling. We've seen Team Poland work very well. We've seen Piotr be able to out-sprint some stronger guys, or what appear to be stronger guys, with some great timing. Less wattage, but better timing, and so that has worked out for him very, very well. So even though you look, Gravdal looks a little bit more comfortable at the moment. It'll be a race right to the end here.
Yeah, and they are still lined out. I don't want to get too much information on the screen until we actually are able to where they settle in just a little bit. But we've seen this before. Some of the other flat courses that we've had up here before. For example, in February, right, the very first week of the postseason in the men's A, it was a relatively flat course, and we saw a completely different style of racing than we saw in the two intermediate weeks, where there were notable climbs that you had to pay attention to. Last week, the reverse, hilly, of course, on Watopia, right? A long climb. You had to pay close attention. But on the flat course 4 weeks ago, we saw attack after attack after attack, trying to get those broken up. And it seemed to happen in every zone as well. Well, today is another one of those relatively flat, those little bumps over and over again. But you see in that lineup exactly how they found themselves in those positions. Now, Szerzynski and, of course, Gravdal in the mix right here. Gravdal, though, finding himself again dangling a little bit off the back, still within reach, heart rate in control. Maybe that's his savvy here. He's putting himself in a nice, clean spot. Steady watts. In between like 180 and 220 pretty consistently here. But that heart rate is beautifully low. I think he got a really nice warm-up. Szerzynski burning it a lot hotter at this point. What's the cost of something like that over this race, Frank?
It's big. So you got to conserve, especially as a sprinter. If this ends up in a sprint, you have to conserve every piece of energy matters. And you're going to use it all at the end. You're going to burn all your matches in that last sprint, and you want every piece of energy. And the more you burn, the less you're going to have at the end. Now, this is pretty early, so you're hoping to get a big recovery in. You're hoping to maybe lose Gravdal. Doesn't look like that was a good tactic given his calm demeanor and his calm heart rate. And so now, if you're Piattori, right, you're looking for the timing again, and you're looking just to conserve energy the whole way, and Gravdal already looks to be doing that.
Yeah, he did. He didn't take the bait early on, which is an impressive thing. But that's why these two riders are in this position, why they're in this race together today. This is the postseason men's A final, right? The first time we've done this postseason. Szerzynski and Gravdal face-to-face with their teammates, and it is exciting stuff to watch. We're lucky to be here and to be able to take it all in. So interesting point of view as we look at these riders here. They're starting to line it out. That corner always tends to stretch it out. There's some guys who just don't want to get caught behind, and they really dig and make sure that they get out in front of that. But the corner can sometimes stretch it out, almost like it can in a crit, to be completely honest. That's an interesting characteristic. But this race is going to have a couple of kind of punchy spots, right? They're gonna do this relatively flat lap. Again, you're watching Gravdal, whose heart rate's going up a little bit. It's kicked about 10 beats per minute, but so has Szerzynski, finding himself a little bit hotter up there. Now he's staying in that nice clean spot near the front, but not on it. Near the front, but not on it, until I said that, of course. And then he moves to the front and starts to deliver just a little bit of angst to the rest of the group. But as you look behind him, that's a great angle that we see, as we cut to it here. Szerzynski sitting near the front of that group, you see a big gap to the next group. This group has gotten quite a bit smaller. Looks to be now 9 riders in this lead group. And then you've got folks like Yamamoto and Zalewski and, of course, Jeffrey Creel hanging off the back of that by just a couple of seconds. If they have any hope of contributing to this race at all, they've got to join that main group, don't they, Frank? I mean, they've got to get in there and actually do some work.
Yeah, I think that Team Poland has decided we're just going to keep doing break after break after break and see if they can break Gravdal. And they've got a gap. Now, Gravdal's got his ragtag band, as you call them. They're not all in the same jerseys, but they're all chasing. They're all working for him. They're all working very, very hard, in fact, to bring back Team Poland and Szynski.
Yes, this is interesting. There's a lot on the line for this race, Frank. I mean, it's pretty cool. Now, these folks won't participate in the major, right? The CVR World Cup major in Los Angeles, but they will participate. Well, one of them in the next World Cup event, which has yet to be officially announced. Hopefully, that'll be something that comes soon. You obviously want to tune in on Saturday to do this. But as we look forward to this upcoming event in Los Angeles, these guys are going to have the opportunity to race against some pretty world-class folks, which is an amazing thing, I think, that they get to do. As they come up and over the hill, we don't want to ignore this. It's pretty exciting stuff that they find themselves digging, trying to make sure that he gets in there. Szynski finding himself in a little bit different spot. Creel, Vision Rider, comes to the front, and he's in the gap right in front of him, Yamamoto on him. This actually may be a little bit dangerous because you don't want to have to do this much work if you're a protected rider, as Szynski is. Trzynski, his man, just a little bit further ahead. Matt Johnson, the ODZ, very strong ODZ rider, involved heavily early on in the season here, did not end up making the cut, as it were. Gravdal just a couple of spots behind him, marking his man, maybe in a safe position. He sees that Polish flag up there in the right-hand side. Trzynski sitting 11th at this case, and of course our guy Gravdal sitting in 16th. They're really within reach of one another, but this thing got crazy real fast. Sometimes what happens here is that there are others who, while they enjoy showing up to participate in an event like this, they definitely don't have this desire to let these guys just have their day. They train just like everybody else. They show up like everybody else. And you know what? They may want to win a race here. And maybe the narrative that they won in this broadcast is, hey, the two guys who are competing for that spot at the next CVR World Cup event didn't even make the break. I kicked their butts. I deserve to be there, right? Quite a bit of pride and bragging rights on the line here. So as they come up and through the Strand again. We saw what happens to them as they come along that that climb. They're coming back up toward virtual Trafalgar Square there. And now they're coming back, about to hit that red carpet right by the right as we approach here by the Buckingham Palace. But we see actually Gravdal finding himself just kind of dangling off the back a little bit, and his heart rate, Frank, dramatically different than it was a few minutes ago, isn't it?
Yeah, they are going hard. They went hard at the start, and they've just pretty much continued the whole time. Maybe there's been 30 seconds of rest, but there was Piotr and Team Poland sticking it to Gravdal, and then the tables turned, and Gravdal and company stuck it to Team Poland and Piotr. So great counterattack. Could have worked. Piotr was high on the heart rate, but Piotr went super deep, certainly not giving up this early. These guys are here for the win.
Yeah, they're really drilling it at this point. And if you're just joining us, you're just tuning in, you may not know what this race is all about. It is a painful, fabulous head-to-head against Piotr Szynski and Yoni Gravdal. They are here at this A men's final. This is the postseason for CVR League, the very first season of CVR League, and these men are in this race. The winner will receive an invite to the next CVR event, not LA, which is happening in less than a week now, Frank. But these guys definitely want that spot. So Szynski and Gravdal together here. I find this really interesting. Gravdal finding himself in that tail position, and he's got a little bit of a gap to that group right now. He's chasing back on, but still a tight group. Yeah,
he seems to me to be sort of baiting them into working. So I think he's confident in his ability here. You see, he doesn't go deep. He's catching the tail draft. in Zwift. A lot of people don't realize it extends that far. And so he's kind of, baiting people into, to going hard, pulling off the front. But at this point, he's pretty far back. He might, they might have broke the rubber band at this point.
And not sure if those really qualify as his teammates sitting in front of him. But as you look, he's sitting in 13th spot right now. He is moving up, making a concerted effort here. Looks like he's getting out of the saddle. In fact, looks like we'll jump back to him here real quick. Looks like Gardner decided he's going to really put on the and these guys are going to help him close. It looks like Matt Johnson also helping close the gap here. Now they're starting to worry. They're finding themselves off the back. They're not close enough to this group, and they put a few seconds right there in between them. 14th position for Gravdahl, and right now Szerzynski sitting very comfortably with his teammates right there in 7th, 8th position in this race. But if you notice, and we'll jump back again here to Gravdahl, he finds himself in the gap here. There is a notable gap in front of him of now more than a couple of seconds. Very scary if you want to get, you want to be able to stay in this race. Now, Zaleski, now the Team Poland rider, Zalewski, now 45 seconds off the back, no longer able to help his teammate. They see what's going on, and you'll notice right now, Gravdahl himself coming to the front to say, let's push this, boys. They're trying to close this. We're not going to let it happen easily. Jump back one more time to the Gravdahl chase group, and you can see the gap in front of them with this big straight road. That's some scary stuff. They do not see themselves.
And they might just be, burning themselves up, go super hard for a lap, and then you're done for the day, right? And, well, once you've got this gap, you can sort of maintain it. We see the time is actually extending.
And wear jersey in there. We've got the old gray camo, just a old holdout in the closet. Everyone's got that one, right? They love it. But they are chasing as hard as they can, and these gaps look massive to me. How many seconds is that? It looks to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15. I'm not sure that we're seeing it right in the system. When you come up here, you get some really kind of odd anomalies that happen, but look at that line. Gravdahl doing what he can. These guys are burning, trying to catch them. But up front in that Szerzynski group, he looks to be well shepherded by a big team of guys. The danger here is that, yes, maybe you've got these strong A riders in this men's A finale for league that are able to pull you back. A group tends to be able to do that with a lot of folks. But the danger is you put these guys in that much work this early, and they may find themselves in a position. Watch, they're going to see them as they go by here. Gravdahl's going to be able to look over to the left. Those guys just passed. Now the internal clock starts in their head. They're like, how long is it going to take us to get there? They're right there. But it's an eternity to get to this corner and then to get to where they are. It looks to be a good solid 25 to 30 seconds now to this group. Now, it's long and flat. There's an opportunity to make some of this up, but it doesn't look like Szerzynski is even opening the door, right? He keeps moving to the front to make sure that this is the pace that they're pushing, not letting any of these riders that might be maybe working for Gravdahl that happen to make this group delay it, maybe not take a rotation, maybe not close a gap. He does not want to get caught in that position, neither do his teammates. This is unbelievable. These guys came into this race through very different approaches. Now, again, early for these guys, they find themselves taking on the likes of Adam Boyko, the ODZ rider, Robert Lyons. Gravdahl defeated him in the very first week. Andrew Hinton also in that. He, who we know very well from past CVR events, was able to eliminate him in that race. Szerzynski's road was a little bit different as we peek at the was able to take out Jarrow, which was an amazing race. It's really, really fun to watch these riders. The Gravdahl group chasing hard, Frank, trying to get back in, but how much damage has been done at this point? They are really, really pushing hard, or at least they were. You see Gravdahl with a much lower heart rate here than Szerzynski, but the gap's not falling at this point. They're not seeing a change in that gap. what can we expect with the time that we have left?
Well, I think they're trying to hold the gap here, and Gravdal is comfortable, and Trzynski is at the higher end of his heart rate. I was just checking on, we've got a flag in the front group, but I don't think that that's an impact at this point, due to the raw power and the weight that rider has. So everything looks to be fair play at this point, and you see, I think just Gravdal is struggling. He keeps getting gapped a little bit here, and that's how he's been playing the game. But I think he's allowing too much of the gap to open. He has got to stay on those back wheels, but he may be struggling today. I look at the relative
Well,
speeds.
maybe we're seeing some patience here.
Yeah, and I see that, but wow.
Yeah, the relative speeds are critical.
Yeah, and so the front group still has numbers, and you've got Gravdal certainly not encouraging the guys who are pulling him to pull super hard, dangling off the back like that. So while he might be being patient, what he is signaling to the people pulling for him is slow down.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job of keeping his heart rate in a comfortable position so that he's not overdoing it, right? 153 beats. I mean, that is quite a bit. Maybe if you're not bleeding time at this point, maybe that's not such a scary thing. I should point out that this has actually dropped. It's a little bit confusing to see. There are 10 places in between them. But the Trzynski team, if you look down the line a little bit, you see the chasers that are coming in Gravdal's group. You see guys like Richardson and Jeffrey Creel, as we mentioned before, Matt Johnson from Team ODZ, doing the work in the chase. It's down to about 15 seconds now from the front of one group to the back of the other. And the Gravdal group is definitely closing it down. The heart rates of those other guys, that's the question. How much fuel do they have to be able to do this? It's amazing to see. So thank you for joining us. This is an exciting race. We're really happy to bring it to you. Of course, this is the exciting finale of the men's league, CVR League, CVR World Cup League finale. And we're bringing it to you specifically so that we can watch the matchup between these two men, right? Piotr Trzynski and Yoni Gravdal. They're doing the work right now, but they are broken into two groups. Trzynski finds himself with teammates at the front with a savvy attack early on. Gravdal with a ragtag band of fugitive rebels. These guys could show up in a Star Wars movie, right? I mean, there's a Wookiee in this group, specifically Matt Johnson, right? Twi'lek. I won't go Star Wars nerd on you, but these folks are not necessarily teammates in the traditional sense, but they've banded together for the opportunity to take down the empire, if you will, of Team Poland. And as they come up this hill, we're going to see those gaps close briefly. But as Gravdal and his crew chase, we see Trzynski coming up and over the top. Now, how fast are they going to get going here? This is what we pay attention to. Top white bar, left side. We want to see what he's going to top out at here, right? 49 kilometers per hour. We saw 48 kilometers per hour a moment ago as he's 20 kilometers into this race, almost 30 minutes in, and drops down. But as we jump back to the other one, we see what Gravdal's group can do. Can they maintain the same speed as they come up and through this section? It looks to be pretty similar. And we're not seeing these gaps drop a tremendous amount. There are lots of places, where they can do that. Where can they get this time back?
Yeah, so yes, Pietor's just slightly gapped. He's working his way back, and it looks like he's going to close it right there. But he was gapped there for a bit. And I would say he is in danger of blowing his engine. I mean, he's been high revs here. We're only halfway through the race. Remember, this is CVR, so the races are a little bit longer, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays. So at this point, Piotr must maintain his gap, or Gravdal will eat him alive. in the sprint, and maybe he'll just go right beyond him. So Piator's in a very interesting position there. He has rolled the dice, redlined his engine, and he's trying to stay with this group at the front.
Yes, he has, and it is impressive. Now, we should point, there he is, gapped again off the back. Now, you'll notice, where are his lieutenants? Where is Trzynski? Well, he's off the back. Trzynski trying to sprint here, 400, 500 watts, poking it up here, but it looks like competitor, and this group are going to catch him. Trzynski has fallen back. He's trying to grab a wheel to make this group so he can help out his guy, but it looks like Gravdal on this lap is going to do it. He's going to be able to pull him back. He's got a team. As we jump over again to Trzynski, we find that he's alone. Now, these guys have backed it off a little bit. Maybe he can close that gap to 40 in Yamamoto. But really, at this point, there are no more teammates for him left in this. And the one who it looked like was going to be completely out of this a moment ago, Gravdal, is now leading the charge under the banner to catch on to his competitor. Matt Johnson in that group also really, and Jeffrey Creel, the Vision Rider who was in this bracket earlier on, doing what they can to help their guy get back. And I don't know, Frank, maybe it's underdog kind of love that you get here as we see the kind of the sad state of Trzynski now really having to resign himself to being caught here. He's really backed it off 170 beats per minute. He's eyeballing this group, which is now within 20, 30 meters of him. Actually, they're closing it down really, really fast. Hermanson also in that group, who was in danger of dropping off before. They come by him here, and he gets a couple of teammates back as they come by. He digs it. Hashimoto trying to get on that, but he's just got to reincorporate into this group, and it looks like he's going to do it. He's not going to get spit out the back. Savvy riders know how to stay in, and the competitors are back together again.
Wow.
So
that was
what we've seen over these first few laps, these first 23.3 kilometers. Intense.
Oh, very, very intense. And now, I don't know if you noticed, but Piotr tried to get his heart rate down.
So,
and it's just, now you see the counterattack potentially coming, and this is going to hurt.
Yes, it is. Looks like there's a big push on the front. Who is going to do it? It looks like Jeffrey Creel from the Vision Rider. He is the one doing the work on the front, trying to punish these boys. He just did a ton of work. Maybe Gravdal is going to be able to get this. We have seen a complete role reversal. Gravdal, the man with everything on the line, maybe as much as 30 seconds behind Trzynski and a strong group. Let some boys pull him back, and Trzynski now finding himself in a tough spot. His teammate, Trzynski, now on his wheel and drifting backwards, going the wrong direction. Brother, come with us. We're going this way. A gap forms, and who has to close it? The man who's been trying to slow his heart rate. But, Frank, the right time to close the gap is when?
Now.
That's right.
Certainly for Piotr, he's
got to keep it close. Yeah, he does. He's got to keep it close. Gravdal really playing this smart. We were questioning his tactics early on because he was just kind of tail gunning this chase group, just sitting at about 155 beats per minute. It was not happening for him, but he was patient. And we said that at the time. Maybe he's just being patient. He knows how this race is going to go out. He knows he's got help here, but now he's finding himself where he wants to be back in this group. And we've seen a role reversal. Trzynski is the one who's having to do a little bit of work. Now, as we look at these heart rates, Gravdal sitting at about 165, Trzynski about 15 beats higher, which he's been higher most of the time. That's a lot of work. As we've discussed in previous weeks, I don't care how old you are, how fit you are, 180 beats per minute is tough. Gravdal picking it up now, 160, 165. He's ringing the bell a little bit for him. He's been a little bit higher. But what is the impact, do you think, Frank, of this heart rate over time for these riders? Is it going to impact a big finish here?
Well, we had advantage Piotr earlier, but we've definitely gone to advantage Gravdal. He saved a lot of energy. Now he's putting the hurt into the legs. It might have been worthy for him to sort of maybe sit in, but I think it's been total role reversal. So now he's going to go to the front and go super hard, and Piotr is going to try and recover. So we're still a long way from the finish. We're out at like 47 kilometers today or something like that. So we're just a little over halfway done, and these guys are just going all in, all out, and we'll see how it develops.
Well, I'm excited. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to get some reports from the team car to make sure that they are giving us what we need in laps to go. We do not want to miss that. It's an easy thing to do and a scary thing to do sometimes. So we'll make sure that we get from team car the proper number of laps to go. But you're right.
We got another role reversal here. So you had Team Poland, who looked like they were on the back foot, and they just attacked up that hill, and they've got Gravdal off
exactly.
the back. Stunning.
It's insane. It's absolutely right. Thank you for those of you who are tuning in on social media. We've got some folks over there. Andrei Sezek says Team Poland, go power, right? Michael Mustashewitz, again, go Team Poland. Mark Jones, shame I can't be there. I have to get my kids ready for school. And that is really, Frank, the flavor of this CVR league, right?
The kids should miss the school today.
Guys.
Just keep them home.
That's right.
Have them watch the race.
That's right. They need to understand what it means to give your all to someone else. And who's giving their all to someone else? Well, people like Matt Johnson, Ishimoto, Jeffrey Creel in that group, giving all to Gravdal. On the Szerzynski side, he's got a couple of faithful lieutenants, but he has lost a ton of them. Szerzynski is dangling off the back, or at least he was a moment ago. And a few of his other Team Poland folks are so far back now that they're in front. They're going to get past here. Now, in a traditional crit where people aren't cut, it's entirely appropriate for, and this really is a crit in many ways, entirely appropriate for lap riders to rejoin the group. How much work they can do, now that's an interesting question that'll have to be decided at a later time. Don't know that we're going to get a ruling on that today. But probably those boys won't be able to hang on when it gets serious again anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
that they'll be able to provide much value.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. But, it's interesting that you say that, because today it feels more like a real crit. Out of every corner, every little hill,
yes.
There's digs,
yes.
there's pushing, there's all of that. And I guess I was a little overexcited. Send your kids to school, take them to school. School's more important than a bike race, and even if it's CVR. But I think that it's been very, very interesting.
It has. If you're joining us on social media, please let us know which of these riders you think is likely to come away with this. Who are you rooting for? And who's your prediction? We'd love to know. We'll make sure that we include you in this broadcast as well. We appreciate you being here. There's some folks chiming in from some really interesting time zones. That is pretty exciting to see. We would expect, Central and Eastern Europe to be chiming into this A race here. But in the U.S., it is really, really early in the morning. Exciting stuff. So as they're kind of gearing up here, maybe this is a moment of just kind of measuring things out, see where folks are, see what they've got. It is super exciting to think that we are less than a week away, Frank, from the World Cup Los Angeles here. And we've got some amazing sponsors in this process here. We'll bring them up for you here. Saris, Cyclops, of course, Helen Cycles, Cyclogen, of course, involved in this, Power Tap Garneau, and Hunter Allen Peaks Coaching Group, all contributing to the fabric of this race in Los Angeles, which is exciting to see. Again, I've got my eyes on this race. Don't worry. We're not going to let it get away from us. They come around another hard corner here and dig a little bit harder. Szerzynski, boy, we see some great Tron bikes in here. Of course, the Zwift experimental bikes. But if you've got the opportunity to join us in person, the lineup for the weekend coming up is an exciting one, right? We've got Saturday, March 24th. We're going to see the 2 women's heat, 2 men's heats. In those heats, we're going to see something exciting happen with those riders. Half of them are going to go into the elite final, right? Half of them into the performance final, and you never know how it's going to go. Last year, for example, in the women's final, don't worry, you're not missing anything huge in the race just yet. We'll keep you close to it. We saw the very talented, very savvy, riders from those different races fall into those categories. I want to bring up her picture for you so you've got it here. But Carrie Conabear, who was in that group last year, found herself in a gap like some of these riders off the back, found herself in the performance category when she might have even vied to actually win that elite category, Frank. And so those are exciting races. They're not pro forma. They're not just to prove that these riders here or there deserve to get in there. There are always shocking turns and amazing surprises in that race. As we jump back into our race here, I'll ask you, what are some of the matchups that you're really excited about in that Saturday qualifier, if you will? I realize it's not a qualifier, but for the point here, who are you excited about?
It's a very interesting dynamic because you do have these twists and turns. It's why we race. Some people can have a bad day. Some people can have a good day. We'll see Lionel Sanders out. You sort of automatically think that a world-class athlete would make it, and we expect him to make it. But you also see bike racing versus triathlete time trial. Does he know the tactics? Does he have the upper range? Will that cost him? There's a lot of strong men vying for the elite Sunday finals, and so it's an interesting dynamic. And it looks like
it
we
is
got
an
a little bit of a break
dynamic
here.
Yes, we do. Gravdal finds himself kind of on the back side of this thing. 12th position, which is not so far back here. But as we jump up to the other group here, we see Szerzynski really doing a nice turn of work there with his folks at the front. As we mentioned before, we thought we were going to rejoin some of these folks. We start to see some teammates come back in. But Szerzynski, who is on the front of this group, probably sitting maybe in 5th position overall, is doing the work. You see him coming up the hill there. Both of those fabulous Team Poland jerseys pulling to the front there. Szerzynski now comes up with his teammate. They're working together. The gap that we find behind him is a little bit different there, right? You find Gravdal still within contact there, but just a little bit further back. A few other riders in the mix here doing what they can to support the process, but they're still all together. The question, of course, that we have, we're doing about 40 kilometers today. I mean, how far can these guys go on the energy that they have left? When are we going to start seeing attrition? Or are these guys crit guys that can do awesome stuff?
Yeah, we're seeing the same theme play out again, where you've got sort of Gravdal off the back. It's kind of a rope-a-dope kind of behavior. Try and get Szerzynski to burn some matches, perhaps, and then do the pullback and then do the counterattack. But Team Poland seems to be saying, yeah, you might be doing that, but we're doing we're just going to go to the front and attack, let you come back, and then attack again. So it's been attack and counterattack, and it's settling down a little bit, but out of every corner, up every hill, so far it's been go, go, go. But what's different typically about CVR World Cup races is they're a little longer. We see that here today. So you're at 40 minutes. A lot of races would be done on the Class C course at this point, are very near done. But we've still got a long way to go. So these guys may be hurting. Now, that being said, part of the feeling as to why people think this is so important is they're so invested, right? This is 12 weeks into the league, final week of the league, but you have raced your heart out. You know that they're typically a little bit longer. You're not going to let anybody just go away. There is not going to be any go quietly into the night here in Zone A today.
No, not. And you know what? These racers underscore what we love about this process. Now, as they're coming up ready again here, they're on the red carpet, about to come in front of Buckingham Palace. It's raining now. We see Szerzynski and Gravdal as the primary focus here. People become fans of these racers. Ooh, we're seeing a big kick at the front. Gravdal decides he's going to push a little bit, and he's coming around. He's not going for sprint points here. What he's looking for is the opportunity to maybe just get a little bit of a break. But Szerzynski is not letting him go anywhere. He's got a teammate to help mark. Trzynski doing the job of the faithful lieutenant as he has done all year, closes that gap really quick. It's like they knew we were going to go to a graphic, Frank, and Gravdal wanted to attack in that exact moment. That's questionable. I want to have a word with him about that, right? There are things you don't do, and one of the things you don't do is you don't attack in a graphic, right?
Yeah,
you don't attack in a graphic.
Yes, what we have to stay on the race the whole time. These are the precursor fireworks, right? As grand as these fireworks are, and it's been an amazing season for the league, in real life, in the velodrome, Olympic Velodrome in Los Angeles, we've got CVR World Cup, the major coming up. I can't even imagine how hard people are going to go with people, riding next to them. You can see them. The atmosphere is, a crowd is yelling and cheering. It's going to be amazing. There is going to be some amazing efforts, just like there are today. Coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, there is going to be a lot of kilojoules expended in that velodrome.
What? You are not kidding. And you know what? He's got to be looking on, and by he, I mean BJ Alfonso, who is the director sportif of Team PTZ. He was able to come to CVR Paris and support his athletes, his teammates in that process. But he's got to be really proud of his guy Gravdal, who's decided to go to the front here and put everybody in a little bit of pain. This is not a sprint for the finish, but this is a reminder to Team Poland as they hit those orange numbers that I still have a lot left in the tank. And he has continued to surprise people along the way. And they've got to respond, right? They have to respect every single one of his moves. They could let him dangle a little bit, but he's proven to be such a popular rider in the group that he can take people with him. He can pull the Mark Johnsons, the Jeffrey Creels. He can get these guys to work for him, the Richardsons. There are lots of folks willing to help Gravdal out today. And with only maybe two teammates left for Szerzynski, they've really got to be strategic and careful to not let this thing get away from them, to not let Gravdal take advantage. He was in such danger early on that now he's a cornered animal, right? He's willing to fight to the death here. That very, very dangerous when that happens. He's definitely got the aggressiveness here. Szerzynski marking, making sure that he stays in that group, and of course our guy Gravdal staying right where he needs to be, but not in a safe position, right, Frank? He continues to throw these attacks. For people who are just joining us and want to get a sense of what has happened so far, I think it's worth explaining that there was a really sharp attack at the beginning of this race by Team Poland. They came straight out of the gates and tried to create that accidental separation that, frankly, we saw on Tuesday. In one of the women's races, there was an attack early on. There was a split that was never recovered, right? We said it many times. You can't lose it, or you can't win it in the first. I screw it up every time. How do I do that? I say it all the time. But you can't win a race in the first kilometer, but you can lose it. And we saw that happen. They were unable to pull it back. Well, maybe that was the strategy. What do you think? Was that Team Poland's shot straight out of the gate as they come up this hill? I believe is the fifth time as they come over this.
I think they did think they would have the numbers.
Was
and
that
they
Team
could
Poland strat maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think they were, go off the front. They got the front. They tried to hold it. Gravdal and company remained calm. I think that's been Gravdal's entire kind of playing it coy and sort of hanging on the back, making people think they should go hard. And here we see some huge attacks going up the hill. This will be interesting to see if it puts Piotr into some difficulty here. But yes, I think that is. But I think Gravdal's just been playing it calm, and I think he thinks he's super confident, and I think he's got a good chance at the win today if everything stays as it is. But I expect Team Poland to put in a couple of more digs. We've got about 9 kilometers to the finish, so it might be time to give that a whirl. It looks like they might be doing that now.
They might, in fact, be doing that right now. And it is some scary, scary stuff if you are trying to hang on to this pain train right now. Nothing polite about it going on at this point. BJ Alfonso in the Facebook chat reminds us, hey, buddy, just make it up in Portugal. Just make it to Portugal. We got this. He wants a CVR World Cup in Portugal. Tell you what, we'll put that in the suggestion box, BJ. We appreciate that. Always, always good stuff. Now, this continues to dig here. Szerzynski finding himself just trying to stay on Gravdal's wheel, only 2 in between him. Trzynski, his teammate, making sure to mark him. All you got to do is get on your boy's wheel, and you can do this. Johnson falls back a little bit deeper in the group. Lanuski, and now a lapped rider for Team Poland, just up ahead a little bit. Maybe he can provide a body, a slight break in the wind. But I think this thing is going to cut loose here in just a second, Frank, and just kind of tear it up, create some problems here. And I think any of these guys that are lapped that had hopes of jumping in are going to be able to do that. I need to switch over to Gravdal. Looks like we have the group text message up on that camera. I'll wait just a second until it's cleared so we can get a clear view of what's going on Gravdal's camera. But he finds himself just almost closing this down, a little bit of a gap. We see him actually, they're all together here on Szerzynski's angle. And coming around is Matt Johnson now trying to do a little bit more. Lanuski, Team Poland rider, contributing what he can. In a traditional crit, there is an unspoken rule. And you know what? This may just be an American thing, maybe a Western American thing, might be a Northwestern thing based on the racing that I've been doing. But there is kind of an unspoken rule that if you do get lapped in a training crit, right, that allows you, Gravdal, look at that on the front there, doing some work, trying to get away. He's not going to have it. And Gravdal really leading the charge here. The Team Poland comes around him. There he is on the wheel now of Lesniewski and some of the other Team Poland riders. But he's got his boys, Matt Johnson, in that group as well. Not sure if they're communicating in a chat. Very likely that they could be doing this. But I should point out that Matt Johnson is a Eastern United States guy. He got up at 3 a.m. to be able to ride for his guy. That's the dedication that you see in these types of races. No one gets up at 3 a.m., right? That's ridiculous.
And it's hard to race when you get up at 3 a.m. Maybe he didn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. I would have just stayed up and had my cup of coffee about 2 a.m. and hopped on the bike about 2:30 and started the warm-up, and I would have been good to go.
Yep. So here's what's awesome about this. We've got folks that are big fans, tons of people, 45 new comments in the last little bit. I can't even read them all. Sonia Whitman, we appreciate you as well. But these folks are big fans of these riders. And one of the cool things they're going to be able to do with CVR LA, as they were able to do with Paris, is they're going to be able to participate in cycle fantasy, right? They're going to be able to choose the riders that they think. They're going to be able to have their own bracket, their March Madness. And this is without a doubt March Madness of the cycling sense, virtual cycling no less. Gravdal really digging it on the front here. As we switch to his camera, you can see the pain that he's putting down. Maybe if he wins and advances to the next CVR event, not LA, but the one that follows this summer, he'll be the #1 vote getter in Cycle Fantasy, because right now he looks like a good draft pick. He's got all of the power, Frank. He's dictating how this race is going to go. He is not being dictated to by what looked like a larger, more organized Team Poland. Well, is he the favorite here as we're pushing this?
I would think so, looking at what's happened, looking at heart rates. And we're here, the bell is ringing. We're on the last lap. 43 kilometers is where we finish out today. They've gone quite fast. I think
it's coming.
Well under an hour. And so this is it. And it'll be interesting to see. Now, remember, you kind of want to pick Gravdal here, but Piotr has amazing sprint timing. His team is pulled for him. He's in team colors. I'm sure the team is going to be pushing for him. He's going to give every ounce of effort that he has, and he has the timing on sprints down. So this is going to be very, very interesting as we head to the finish. Maybe Gravdal will try and go long and not leave it up to time sprint.
Boy, that is the truth. What's amazing is that both of these riders, I mean, they are here because they have outwitted some outstanding riders to get to this point. They're in this first postseason tournament men's A bracket because they beat some unbelievable racers, right? They've really contributed so much. Eric Hung in there, Brett Boniface, all of these riders, Joachim Plommers, racers that we know very, very well. Oh, look at this. Team Poland comes to the front. These are strong, strong riders. I've always said that these types of races are a race to exhaustion, and the one who times it perfectly, hits that exhaustion at the right time, usually is the winner. Too early, you fade. Too late, you had something left in the tank. If you can exhaust yourself as you cross that line, leave nothing left, then you are most likely going to be the winner. But as Gravdal just keeps those guys in check right there, he finds himself now drifting a little bit to the front, and Szerzynski has to be very careful on this climb. Yep, this is where interesting things can happen. I think we're going to see some guys completely sell out on this climb, and it looks like those boys are moving to the front. Matt Johnson moving to the front as well. He wants to lead his guy out. Gravdal right there with him on his wheel. Trzynski, Team Poland, not allowing this to get away in any sense, then pushes as close as he can just to make sure his guy is in contact there. A little bit confusing. No one is getting a big break here, but watch these orange numbers show up on the right-hand side of your screen as these guys dig really hard. 300, 400 watts. Matt Johnson's about to ring that bell. There they are. We expected to see him, and they are kicking it right up the hill. Szerzynski keeping his guy in view. Yes, and then right back down.
You've got Team Poland here. I expect a lead-out train here, not on this turn, but at the U-turn where you head towards the 1 kilometer Clyde. Look for a lead-out train to start then.
You're not kidding. And here's the interesting thing about virtual cycling. Yes, you want that lead-out train, but you know what? Your lead-out train will help everyone else. Wow, look at that. Gravdal right on the wheel of Szerzynski. He's just staying exactly where he needs to be. Probably has a ton of confidence. Here's the way this could backfire for Team Poland. If they insist, they've got 3 riders in there. One of them is a lapped rider, allowed in this form of competition here, right? They find in there, but his lead-out train could very easily become Gravdal's lead-out train. There's no blocking in this cycling. You can't endanger cyclists. No one can crash, right? So any meaningful, he could in fact jump in and steal Szerzynski's spot in that line. When do you think it's going to come, Frank? When do you think this lead-out train is really going to start to ramp up? When are we going to see it?
I would expect it to start ramping right now. And
here we go.
Yep, and we'll see if Creel goes to the front. Is he still in here? Yep. I would expect him to be one of the lead-out men, actually for Gravdal. So you're really going to have 2 sorts of lead-out trains here, and here we go. Not super big numbers yet,
yes. 1 kilometer to go. You come on, and it starts to really line out. unbelievable. The BRT rider in the front, Matt Johnson, starting to put in a big dig here. Trumov also in that group, the Russian Federation rider. But all of these guys, all of these Team Poland guys are sticking to the front. Gravdal marking his position, looking probably over on the right hand of his screen, looking for those big orange numbers. Can he out-sprint Szerzynski? He is a monster on the bike. They don't look terribly organized, Team Poland. They're looking around trying to decide who's going to go. And in fact, it looks like Gravdal is the one who is going to have to instigate this. And it probably will be. He's done it a number of times. But no, he's just holding 4.5 watts per kilo, just right in that spot. But here it goes. It starts to uncork. Unbelievable power coming out of these A riders, sprinting to the front. Gravdal finding himself in that spot. Szerzynski, Lesniewski in the front, leading him out. Gravdal now fading just a little bit. Is he going to be able to come around him? Doesn't look like it. Szerzynski with that big dig. It looks like Matt Johnson's not going to be able to help Gravdal, but the gap closes pretty quick. Gravdal, will he have time to shut the door? It doesn't look like it. Jeffrey Creel, rather, ended up being the line out, and Lesniewski performing, even though he was a lap behind. Trzynski also forming that group that kept him safe. Gravdal had the power a number of times, but I think that top-end speed was what did it for Szerzynski. This is unofficial, but as I watched it cross the line, it looks like Szerzynski had about a second on Gravdal in that final sprint.
Yes, so that was, I think Team Poland did an excellent job there. They went early, not as early as I thought they would go. And Gravdal, I think he was waiting for Creel. Creel started a little bit late. Gravdal started a little bit late. There was just the littlest of a gap there that formed, and Team Poland looked like they were a little disorganized, but they were actually very organized. They pulled all together. Everybody stayed on everybody's wheel, so they had the draft effect. They had power, and an amazing number 4 seed. What an amazing upset. Piotr Trzynski makes it through. He is got an invite to the CVR World Cup in Canada coming up late June, and that is just amazing. That was an amazing. I'm a little bit stunned. I thought Gravdal maybe had a little bit more there at the end, but again, as we see time and time again in Zwift, he who starts the sprint often wins the sprint. Now, I think that might have been a little bit different here if you didn't have a team, but that was beautifully executed team tactics. I mean, spot on.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Really exciting stuff. As we look over to live results here, which you can find yourself at cycleview.cvrworldcup.com, you can click on these live results, and we find ourselves in that final sprint. Szerzynski putting himself where he needed to be with teammates around him. Matt Johnson feverishly pulling to try to get his guy in there. But Gravdal finds himself in a spot, again, unofficial, this will be confirmed here shortly, but finds himself behind his competitor in that group. These were the men who came to race today in this A group, and very exciting what they were able to give us. Very important as well, there are a number of other fabulous races that are happening today that we don't want you to miss out on. If you're a fan of this, you can catch these different races throughout the day. Not the least of which coming up here in just a little bit. Anja Lewendorf and Sandra Deegan in the women's B finale. We've got Lewendorf and Min here with Szerzynski and Gravdal, of course, again. But Lewendorf and Min also coming up today. We'll introduce you to them in a little bit. And you can check out this schedule, again, at CVRWorldCup.com. Stefan Lewendorf and Mark Min. We've got Cheryl Muldoon and Yolanda Posey-Stefan in the women's C bracket. And finally, Simon Nielsen, of course, and Tommy Hadamaki in that men's group as well. Did I miss one? Did I miss one?
No, if you go back to Cheryl, Cheryl is at the In Real Life camp in Los Angeles. preceding the CVR World Cup there. You can check out some of that on Cycling Hub Facebook page. You'll see what they're doing there. She actually had a crash yesterday at camp. I think it was on a descent. And so she will be DNS for tomorrow. She still looks good for participating at the World Cup in LA, but just a little too sore to go tomorrow.
Okay. So on for LA, off for tomorrow.
That is
right?
correct. That is
okay.
correct. She's horribly disappointed.
Excellent
I think she really wanted to go, but I think her coach is like, nope, save it for the. And 2 days after a crash, you are at the peak of your soreness. That's not the best day to reg.
Yeah. It is not the best day for sure. Okay. Well, let's put a bow on this day and just let you know what's coming. Again, throughout the day today, there'll be a number of different events that you can enjoy. But this Saturday, you are not going to want to miss, not even for a second, any of the CVR World Cup Major in Los Angeles. Saturday, March 24th. Women's heat starting at 10:25 a.m. Pacific time and running throughout the day. You'll see a lot of great folks there. You'll see Beth York. You'll see Hunter Allen. You'll see the whole crew and a bunch of folks. And those races are gearing up to the major championship that's going to be on Sunday. 2 divisions of men's and women's races: the performance final and the elite final. And who comes out of that is anybody's guess at this point. But we could not, of course, do this without the sponsors for this, and we want to say a big thank you to them before we say goodbye to you on this broadcast. Sarah, Cyclops, PowerTap, Garneau, of course, Peaks Coaching Group, that's the Hunter Allen Coaching Group, Helen Cycle, and of course, Cyclogen. So we hope that you will join us in that race. But you've got more races coming up today, hosted by many folks. We've got our guy Casey, who's going to run a couple of them here coming up shortly, and then you and I are going to be back in just a few hours to get 4 amazing ones in a row. We're gonna cover this the D, the E, and the F zones today. You and I got a busy day, Frank.
We do have a busy day, and a lot going on. So it's exciting times.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll say thank you to our folks for joining us here. We really appreciate every moment that you spend with us. It is great having you here. And we will see you guys here pretty quick in just a few hours. Thanks a lot, everybody.
You have to